This is some stories about bees and wasps. It's springtime, and my office where I work, I don't know why, as soon as the warm weather comes, a wasp gets into my office. I'll be sitting there, doing something at the computer, and all of a sudden, bzzz, and it's a great big old wasp. And I don't know how they get in. There must be a little hole somewhere, and wasps can find it, and they get into my office. And what I do, this has been going on for like 20 years. I'm pretty sure it's always a different wasp. But what I do is, I don't like it, and I go out of my office. And one cool thing about where I work is there's a lot of women, and these are highly educated women, and they are very much affected by feminism, and they think they should be macho kind of in a way. So I go, well, there's a bee in my office, and I used to have this really nice woman across the hall from me, and her name was Katie, and Katie would go, oh, for God's sakes, and she'd get herself a magazine, and she'd come in my office, and she'd go all John Wayne on that wasp. Well, really, now that I think about it, she would go all Buddhist on that wasp. She used this kind of catch and release technique, and she'd get herself a drinking glass and a magazine, and she would use the drinking glass and she'd trap the wasp. They're usually hanging around the windows, where the light is. I think they're trying to get back out. They can't remember. They're so stupid they can't remember where the hole is. So she would trap the thing, and then she'd slide the magazine in there, and then she just carried this all out. I don't know, outdoors, I suppose. And maybe the next day, the same damn wasp come right back in my office. Katie, Katie, she'd come save me again. I am, kind of a big scaredy cat now in my old age, I got to admit. I was at one point when I was a child, a boy. I was much braver. I used to have adventures with wasps or hornets. Hornets are even more scary than wasps. I think they must be related. But hornets, they're big black things. They're like the stealth fighter planes of the Stinger world, I guess. And they have these big. If you go out in the woods, they have these big globular nests. They're like the size of a human head, and you'll find them. You see them up there in the trees, hanging there, and there'd be these scary hornets flying around. Well, we would attack. My friends and I, we would attack these hornets' nests. We get like tree limbs, long tree limbs, and we would try to knock those things out of the trees, and they fall down. Of course, hornets don't like it if you mess with their home, and they're like after you if they can figure out where you are. But the thing is, I think that hornets, I don't think they have good eyes. I think those compound eyes aren't really that great. And they didn't seem to realize, these weird, human creatures down there on the ground. They didn't seem to realize that we were the enemy. And so what they would do is attack the long sticks, the long poles. So what you had to do if you were a kid, uh, um, as soon as you have to watch your pole, and toward the end, the hornet would come and find the pole, and then it would go right down the length of the pole and where you're holding on. So what you have to do is like drop the thing. As soon as you see that hornet coming down the pole, you got to drop the pole and run for your life, and hope the hornets don't chase you. It's a nasty thing to get stung by a hornet. Um, I also bees. Bees. Here's my encounter with bees. I was playing hide and go seek as a kid, and I was hiding behind a bush at my parents' house, and the bush was right up against the house, and I felt like I got like a twig, stabbed me in the eye. What the hell is that? This stabbed me again. What the hell? And all of a sudden I realized it's a bee. There's a bee's nest right in the middle of this bush that I'm hiding behind, and a bee has found me, and he thinks I'm invading his space, and he's attacking me. I run, I don't think it is a bee. As I'm running, I realize, oh my God, it's a wasp. And see, one difference between bees and wasps: if a bee stings you, it tears out the stinger in the end of the abdomen of the bee, and it kills a bee. So a bee can only really sting you once. But a wasp, they can keep stinging you. They don't have the barbs on their stinger. They can keep stinging you. So it stings me again as I'm running, and now I'm out in a park, and it stings me. I get stung like 4 times with this same stupid wasp, and I slap it, and it stings me right in the hand. I'm so mad. Well, I took my revenge that summer, but I took my revenge really on bumblebees. I really was attacked by a wasp, and for perfectly good reason. I had invaded it, its space, but I was angry. I was pissed off about this whole situation, and I attacked the bumblebees. It was kind of like you remember when we had 9/11, and it was all these people from Saudi Arabia attacked us, and then we went and invaded. Iraq. The Iraqis didn't attack us. It was sort of like that. I was attacked by wasps. but I attack bumblebees. And I would see these bumblebees, they'd be like on a flower or a dandelion or something like that. And I would stomp them. You know, I had tennis shoes on. I would just stomp them. And the thing was, you had to be decisive. You know, you would see it. You had to be courageous. Go right at it and stomp it. Don't be hesitant. You know, don't do anything delicate. Just smack it. You know, with you crush it. You know, yes, dead. It's revenge. You know. And eventually, one day I tried it barefoot. One of my friends dared me. You won't do it barefoot. You're barefoot. You're not. You know. I did it, and it turned out you could kill them just as well with your barefoot as with your tennis shoe. You just have to be decisive. Of course, you know, didn't end happily. One time I must have just stomped it the wrong way, and it stung me as it died, and I had to walk around all day on my heel. My favorite bee story, my favorite bee assassination story, though, is about my brother Daryl. One summer, a nest of bees uh, occurred. I don't know how they did. They must dig a hole or something, and right underneath the sidewalk. Right, so in the front yard, if you walked on the sidewalk up to our house, you walked right over this nest of bees. Well, they came out pissed off. Like the roof is rattling. Some giant is on the roof, and up they would come and they'd sting you. Everybody in my family got stung. My friends got stung. It was like a serious problem. It's like, we're not going to get any more visitors. No one is going to come visit the Arms family unless something is done about these damn bees. And we tried different things. I think, some gasoline was poured into it, nothing, and I don't bee poison squirted, aerosol cans, nothing, and the whole thing was solved by my brother, with a brilliant technique involving a dishpan full of water and a couple of wash rags. Uh, with just those weapons, they wiped out the entire bee colony. What they did is they sat there right beside the sidewalk, careful not to make the sidewalk tremble. And the bees, as long as the boys don't do anything, the bees don't do anything. Bees are coming and going, and they have this dishpan of water, and they put the rags in it till the rags are like soppy wet. As soon as a bee comes, lands, whack, kill that bee. As soon as a bee comes out, whack. They sat out there for like 2 hours, whack, 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 whack. They killed, I don't know how many, they must have killed 300 bees until there were no more bees. You know, we human beings, we're terrified of bees and wasps, but really, they should be a lot more terrified of us.